Can I say something about I know before you go. For the penalty, I'm from outside, right? Like, I don't support Arsenal, I support Everton, I support Liverpool, right? Liverpool already won the league. This is 100% not a penalty. If this is given against my team, I would actually smash the TV, to be honest. I'm being serious, by the way. This is not even close. And I can't understand how they looked at it in VAR. And even if you think that in England made the right decision about the foul was from outside. There is no touch whatsoever inside the 18. And by the way, if the foul started inside the 18 and didn't continue in the 18, by the law, it's a foul from outside the 18. There was no touch whatsoever inside the 18. But everyone wants to say it's a penalty.
But I think
if this is a given against your team, you'll be crying.
Yeah,
you'll be crying.
Mo, I have a little feeling. I have a little feeling they've given it for falling on his leg.
Can I quickly give my opinion?
As much as that's not a foul, I don't even know if it's for the pull. I think it's because he's fallen. I think from the referee's angle, it looks like he falls heavily on his leg. They've watched the replay and there's slight contact. I honestly wait till it comes. Shannon, what do you make of it, mate?
So Terry, just to touch on what you said now, if they give the penalty for the player, for Lewis Kelly falling on Harrison, that would probably be the fourth decision this season that I've seen Arsenal get that I guarantee you would never ever see him given a game. Because how is he supposed to stop himself from falling? If any of us fall now, you can never control the way you fall. Nobody ever looks good falling. So if you're going to give a penalty for a guy falling, losing his balance, then every single touch in the box is going to be a foul. Yes, there's contact in the box. You can say, sure. But is it contact to bring the player down? The foul starts outside the box, as Mo says. And I think, that was, for me, what made the result more deflating. It's not that we drew. It's more how we end up drawing. It's another game where we're speaking about a referee decision, which, like you said, look, it could happen in the next game, and people will just brush over it. And I'm just, I don't know, man.
Harrison didn't even ask for it. Harrison was getting up to get to the ball. Exactly, he didn't even ask for it. Like, he didn't feel any contact. I don't know what people are talking about. You know what? If Harrison got up and started, none of the Everton players will convince the penalty. None of them asked for it.
It is. I think, look at it this way. If they've given it for the pull, then you're going to get an apology. As you say, Mo, the pulling stops as you enter in the box. Therefore, it's a clear and obvious error, right? Because for it to be a foul, you've got to start pulling outside the box, and it's got to continue into the box. If it's for the fall on the player's leg, but we've seen it already. It happened the other day. You remember the penalty Liverpool got against Bournemouth, where the Bournemouth player accidentally catches the foot?
Gakpo, yeah.
Yeah, on Gakpo. It happened in another game the other day, where I don't remember what the team, I have to go back and look, where a defender and striker are running. I'll tell you where it happened. It was a team that scored. Oh, shit. Who was it?
Aston Villa. It was Aston Villa game.
Aston Villa scored. But Ollie Watkins accidentally, in the same way, tripped up a defender that could have got a block him, and they didn't give it as a foul. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, again, it's not about anything other than showing those two incidents to Howard Webb and go explain why one's a penalty and a foul, but the exact same incident in reverse is not given as a foul. And that's the thing for me that football fans just lose sight of because of their tribalism, is we keep seeing these weird decisions and we just want it to be broken down. And if they say it's a mistake, I actually am more accepting of the apology saying we made a mistake than I am of them trying to justify the bullshit. Sorry, Shannon, back to you.
So, Terry, just another thing. This is the same referee who was on VAR when Lewis Kelly got the red card against Wolves. So immediately there's some sort of bias in his decision. I don't think you cannot have a referee who gave a decision like that against us, then referee our games. I just don't see him being impartial. I mean, if you look, like I said, the decision that he makes today, you have VAR who then check it. Why not send him to the monitor for a second look? It's not clear and obvious. So let the referee have a second look at it. I guarantee you changes his mind. But you have VAR there who don't want to make another blunder involving Arsenal to create this narrative which some fans are saying, Arsenal fans claim there's an agenda. It's not an agenda. I don't call it an agenda. I'm just calling out the many instances that Arsenal have gotten extreme cases of refereeing against them. And, it doesn't take away from the way we performed today. I don't think we performed at the level. I think I don't know, sorry, the guy next to Mo. I'm sorry if I know your name,
Connor,
bro, but
Connor.
You mentioned that it was basically, the midfield that you saw today was not something that gave you confidence. And the same with me. I think what Arsenal are really lacking is a creative midfielder outside of Odegaard. I think defensively we were solid today, and I think attack we had the chance. I just think in transition we don't have someone that can get us the ball in the tight spaces to break down a team like Everton. And then looking at Madrid, I think you'll see a completely different performance from Arsenal. I actually disagree with Mo to some regard, where he's saying, you go 2 against 1 against Madrid. Yes, I think in some instances you do show them that kind of respect. But at the same time, I think your game can't only be based off trying to stop the opposition. You also need to focus on playing your own game. And I think Arsenal have shown defensively that we are good as a unit. I don't think we have to do anything special. And what I mean by that is I don't think you go and change the way you defend purely for Madrid, because then I think it might take away from the rest of your game if you're going to be focusing purely on that, especially since we play the first home leg at home.
Have you noticed?
The only way to beat
Have you noticed that every single Big Six game that you have played recently in the last 2 years, you change the way you play against these teams? You don't defend with Saliba being 1-on-1 or even Gabriel 1-on-1. This is why Arteta has been criticized late. He turns into a pragmatist against big teams. This is what I'm asking. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm asking Arteta to play this as a Big Six team. Defend in bulk, 11 players behind the ball when I lose it. I'm not saying camp in your box. Arteta never does this. He did it once against Man City when he was down to 10 men. But all the other games, Arteta asks his wingers to defend deeper, to go double on the wingers. That's what I'm asking. And then Arsenal are a very good team in transition. We actually saw it today with a shit player like Raheem Sterling, who's one of the most overrated players I've said before. And on the transition, you actually created a couple of chances on the transition. And I don't think that Real Madrid defense is that strong. Especially there is a lot of players missing from them. So you do that.
Arsenal will make chances against Real Madrid. I'm sure of it. I want to go to some of these super chats. I haven't heard from Sard yet, but I'm going to come to Sard in a minute. First comment says, "Lol, you don't watch League Gunner." I do watch some of League Gunner's content. I don't know what he said now. He hasn't even. I don't even know if he's put his match reaction up. How can I watch it while I'm live streaming? You bellend. You know, how people always try and create a drama. Of course, I watch some. I don't watch all these content. I don't watch all of anybody's content. But how do I know what someone has posted in a match reaction while I'm live streaming when they're posting their match reactions? You engage your brain, please, you bell. And by the way, Don Vito, that's how you insult somebody whilst also presenting an argument. The two things done simultaneously. Sorry, Ash, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say Madrid just conceded a corner, very bad defending. So, guys, I think we can qualify. We can win, guys. Just 10 corners a game. 10 corners a game. They're so shit at organizing.
You know what, right? I know everybody wants you guys to go out, right? I know everyone wants you to go out. I know everyone wants you to go out. But again, you guys going through would be, I think, amazing for the time.
Break the internet.
It would break the internet.
It's funny, it's funny you say that, Terry. The only time we've ever gotten through to the final of the Champions League, we did beat them.
I get that.
Like, so
it's
for me, only ever time. So
no, I get that. And if you guys go through, it breaks the internet, right? It really does. I think more so than if you go out. However, I would like to see you do it with like 2-0 on aggregate with 2 set piece goals. The insult to injury, the salt in the wounds. Again, just as someone who loves fan content, just sit there and watch the melt. It's not real. They're not real goals. Terry,
do you know what's
beautiful? Be beautiful.
Terry, do you know what's crazy? We haven't even won today, and everyone's crying about it. Like, not Arsenal fans, I mean rival fans. We well done. We conceded a penalty. But it's like, why is everyone so bothered? We drew, and the league's done.
Over.
I don't understand why so many people are so bothered by the fact we haven't even won the game.
Connor, the part that trips me the most is they say we're so shit as a team. Like, this team is so shit. Odegaard is so shit. Arteta is so crap. All the injuries, we're still second. I mean, and in a game that is inconsequential, we won't even lose the game, and people are still losing their shit. It's just a genuine Arsenal derangement syndrome, ADS.
It's a very good trophy for Dio. It's called in second with injuries. I think the hand is at the
No.
But CC, more is an example. More is an example. Go back to your question, Terry. If we do knock out Madrid somehow, I guarantee you everyone is going to come out saying, what a trophy for Arsenal. What a trophy for Arsenal. Yeah, you knocked out Madrid. Who cares? What a trophy for Arsenal. You're not going to win the Champions League anyways. This is brain dead.
You can never appreciate something deep. Like, listen, I'm very much stern on my opinions. Like, I don't believe second's a trophy like some people do. But it's like, come on, like for a
it
game
is with
where
injuries,
we
Connor. It is with injuries, Connor. It is with injuries.
No. I'm not even. See, here's
you
what
have to. You have to present. You have to present to the league the amount of injuries and the amount of games that are missed.
I don't care.
You actually get a trophy at that. Second, without injuries like last season, you don't get a trophy.
If you remember what I said at the beginning of the season, I said I don't give, like, even if Arteta had won me a cup double this season, I still wanted to change my manager. That's what I said at the beginning of the season. I said even if he won the FA Cup and Carabao, I still want my manager changed. Like, I still want a better manager than Mikel Arteta come end of the season. My thing is, regardless of anything, you can't say what that crap. You can't look at the team and be like, yeah, look at you, good for you, you overplay. I saw someone say Gabriel's injury is Mikel Arteta's fault because he played him too many times. And I said, I'm like, which manager would not want
to all of this Dio, and in the beginning of this segment, all of this Dio, in the beginning of the segment, you said, look at us with all these injuries, we're still second. All of what you said, but you said that in the beginning of the segment.
About rivals more.
You're contradicting yourself.
You didn't listen to what I said.
I don't think he is, Mo. I think you've misheard him there. I think you misunderstood him.
Maybe tell me what he said. He literally said, "Look at us, we're second with all these injuries. We're still second."
Let me say it again so you understand, Mo. I want you to listen to understand and not just to respond.
I am.
What I said is rival fans will say, look at them, they're so shit, even with all the injuries and everything, whatever. I said, but at least as shit as we are, we're still second. I'm talking about what rival fans are saying. I'm not saying it. I don't give that excuse. What I said is Arteta has his bed to lay on. He didn't buy enough players. What he's chosen to do, he will live by it. That's what I said.
I understand that. Do you know what I think is interesting about the injury things? I asked this question of two Arteta outers today. They still haven't come back to me. He's rushing Saka back. And this is my question I posed to them. How many games between his return, so the last match, and him getting re-injured? How many, is there a game period, certain amount of minutes that he has to play before you won't blame the next injury on being rushed back? Like, when's the cutoff point? Because I also feel like the narrative set, the next time, it could be in a year, and I still think people would say, if we'd have rested him at the end of last season and given him that rest, this injury wouldn't have happened. And I think that's the level of derangement which I find crazy. But they tend not to want to set a limit to anything because that way they can just keep the abuse open-ended.